Okay, we are back again, just testing out the camera angles. This will be puzzle number 2 in the Sudoku series using the SuperGeek X-1 unified Sudoku formula and other methods. This formula will integrate with any method that you currently use, and it's just essentially just an add-on that anybody can implement into their thought processes as they do Sudokus. Anyways, apparently the puzzle I posted in the number 1 release was out of this purple book, and it was Fiendish Sudoku. And they are hard ones, but I didn't realize I got like hundreds of books. Not hundreds, but lots. And I try to buy them at Chapters actually stocks a lot of hard ones after I request them. Before, they used to have just easy and medium ones, and I used to have to order them online from different places. But these are the brands I've been using lately that they stock. They're all different types. And then these other ones, they still stock these ones, or you'll find these at, let's say, Will Shorts. And there's all different types. Some of them are super, super hard. Some are a little easier. But for the most part, they are hard, and my formula will work with any level of Sudoku. So anyways, there's a terrifying Sudoku one. That's actually really difficult ones. There's the book I did yesterday, a puzzle, the first one, and that's a Fiendish one. And then what I noticed, I'm actually going to keep that as a blocker, because there's the puzzle I'm going to do. Just looking for my active pen. I don't know what I do with it. Oh, there it is. And you'll see the book I'm going to do today is actually a times Sudoku, and it's super fiendish, so it should be harder than the one yesterday. I'm going to, and it's real interesting, just looking through some puzzles to do, the one we're going to do today, it's actually, I'm going to get the first answer in the Sudoku using the pure form of the X-1 formula applied to a unknown section of a square or a row. I believe it's a row that I bring it across. So let us begin. Now, I mean, I can start out just doing standard projections, but what I plan on doing, or what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you, okay, here's the formula again, X-1, and I will do notations on the puzzle to, they're called, basically they're ghost spots, or you can call them whatever you want, but they're ghosts. I call them ghosts, meaning I know where they go, and I know how many in which squares, but I don't know which one goes into which until I apply my formula or other techniques. So if you notice down the bottom, the very bottom row, in this square, there's 3, 4, 5. So that means in this row, 3, 4, 5 cannot be here. They have to be over there. So I can do my notation. If I don't really need to, but I'm going to do it for the sake of explaining my formula. So that's 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. And that's a unknown section of that row that I can apply the X-1. I can also, over on this first side, I know what those ghost spots are going to be, because those are the remainder 3. And that would be, I can just do it in my head, because I got these ones over here already noted out. it's just easier when you note them down in my little notation format. It just so you don't have to do it a lot. I only do it a few times in a puzzle, sometimes more, but I didn't need to do that one. But just for the sake of explaining on how and when the X-1 formula can apply, and I can show 3 locations that I could apply it, or actually 4. I can apply it anywhere I want, but inside of a square, so it's kind of like a subsector of unknowns. So these ghost spots over here would be 1, 2, 8. So I'll put 1, 2, 8. Now I could apply the X-1 to those, and alternatively I could also apply it to these 3, because they're basically ghost unknowns. Those are 3 ghost unknowns, and those would be 3. I can apply it to those 3 unknowns and these 3 unknowns. So it doesn't have to go it doesn't have to apply right across the puzzle. So let's apply it. I'm going to show you where I'm going to get an answer by using the X-1 to start the puzzle out. So if you look at these 3 ghost unknowns, 3, 4, 5, that's 3 unknowns. I put that in my head, so you're kind of you're etching the number of unknowns in your mind. So I put 3, 4, 5 in my mind, and the number of those is 3. There's 3 of them, so that becomes the number of unknowns, which is X. So 3 minus 1 becomes 2. So out of the 3 that are etched in my mind, if I find 2 of them, according to the X-1 unified Sudoku formula, 2 of them cross one of the squares, and the one that does not cross it is the answer, because it doesn't cross it because it is the answer. So what I do here, 3, 4, 5, and I need 2 to cross, and 3 and 5 cross right here. So then that means that that must be 4, according to the X-1 unified formula. Then I can actually cross that out on the notation, and I know that the remainder ghost spots are 3 and 5. Now, I can even go, sometimes I'll put an angle notation if I want to put them in, but a lot of times I just do it in my head. So 3 and 5 are here, so that's 3, 4, and 5. So that up here would be 2, 6, and 7. And I get a 7 that crosses, a 6. I don't have 3. So, and then what you do is when you get one of them, then I can now the vertical column I can apply X-1 to, and there's only 3 of them versus 4. And the less the number of unknowns, the lower the smaller the X unknown number is, the easier it is, or the less amount of cross-sectional projections are required to satisfy the demands of the formula and deposit and figure out what the actual answer is. So let's try the column now. And the column would be, I always put it in my head. And I routinely do this, so you're putting numbers in your head and out of your head. So when the puzzle starts, you'll find as you're going through, the more you get, the faster it goes, because then the X-1 formula has a higher probability of working as the number of unknowns lower themselves as you figure out the puzzle. So it'll actually accelerate in speed, and sometimes it'll go so fast that you will confuse numbers because you're putting sets of numbers in and out of your head for the number of unknowns. And once you get the hang of it, you don't even realize you're doing it. When I look at a puzzle now, I just look and I just automatically look for a small amount of unknowns that can satisfy the number of unknowns in a section, either in a row or a column. Like there'd be 3. Usually you want to go for 2 or 3 or 4. Sometimes it will work with 6 unknowns or 7 unknowns, or theoretically it could work with 9 unknowns in theory. So I'm just gonna just work away. I'll try to explain as I do it. Like I said, this is supposed, but I don't even know what the ratings are of puzzles. I just try to find, I do everything in books, so it's very difficult to find hard books. Well, it's a lot easier now. It used to be really hard. You can find them online, but until you try them out, you don't know the actual level of them. But it doesn't really matter. These are very hard ones. Most people, average Sudoku persons, would have difficulty if they weren't using the X-1 formula, and my other, ghost and double ghost projection outside and inside projection, ghost projection techniques, and standard projectors, coupled in with the formula. A lot of average players or beginner players will be able to rapidly start solving these very, very extreme, difficult Sudokus. And like I say, it doesn't mean that you're going to solve every Sudoku in the world, but you're going to have a very high probability to, and sometimes you have to leave the puzzle and go back, and then it'll come into your head where you'll find a ghost spot sector, which will then produce a smaller sized unknown X value to apply in the X-1 unified formula. So here I go. I'm going to go to this column right here. I'm going to try to keep my hand. I noticed in the video yesterday, I'm going to try to cover up the other puzzle and not give too much of a shadow. I always find it was just, I see a lot of people will do puzzles and they'll write numbers and notations inside. I've never even tried that. I think I tried it once and I thought it was just too distracting. And that's why I have my own lesser notation that I use so that I can use those notations for applying the X-1 formula or into other sectors in that square, or also future projectors, those projections across the puzzle, which I utilize in the method of using the X-1 formula or algorithm, whatever you want to call it, method. It is what it is. So I'm going to do this one here, and that would be 278, and now I got an 8, and that is it. I'm glancing over here. That's the 1, 2, 8, so that would leave me 6, 7, 9. Oh, I just found another projection. This is a standard one, 4 down, 4 across. So this square, there's only one spot left, and that would become there. From here, now there's another. I'm going to do another double repository into an X-1. So I got 8, 1 that goes up to this square, standard projection. So that puts 8 and 1 there. So I'm going to make the. Sometimes I'll do the notation up, but I'm going to do it across. I put 1 and 8, and that notates that, but that leaves 3 unknowns that I can apply the formula to, or standard projections to. So those 3 unknowns would be 2, 6, 7. And from what I see, no, actually over here I just noticed another projection. So I'm going to write those in. That would be 1, 8, so 2, 6, 7. So I put notations. This is just for future projections, 2, 6, 7. But I just noticed over here where I have I know that's going to be 3 and 5. 7 coming down here, standard projection, produces a ghost. That ghost projects across the puzzle with this standard projection, producing a 7 answer in that position. And then from there, there's only 2 left over here. You can quickly look over. Sometimes you will get a standard or another ghost projection to eliminate them. Or yeah, I mean, you can for fun run it through the X-1 formula, which will prove it out the exact same way as standard projections will. So that leaves that 7 goes there. There's 1, 2, 8. So that would be 6 and 9 there. So I can run that projection right across the puzzle. This projection right across the puzzle. So that leaves 6 for there. And then there's 1 left in that row, which is 2. Now I'm doing some more projections. Just there we go. We got 5 vertical, 5 horizontal, 5 horizontal. Those are just standard projections, as I call them. I mean, I guess everyone would have their terminology. I've been doing Sudoku since they were basically came out, like, I don't know how many years ago, 25, 30 years ago. And I've developed my own terminology of basically ghost spots or ghost repositories, and then ghost projections, double ghost projections, inside, outside projections. And those all couple in and are sectorally utilized in if there's an X amount of unknowns that are in a certain area. Like right here, you can see there's 3 unknowns in that square. So I put them quickly in my head. That would be 1, 3, 5. And I look for 2 that cross. I got a 5 that comes down. I got a 2, 6, 7. Yeah, I don't have 5, 1, and 3. They're all individual. But now that I got the 6 over here, and there's 3 and 5, that's going to leave me with 2 and 7. And yes, so and then there's, that's 1, 2, 8, so that would be 6 and 9. And I can actually see another, this is just a standard, it's basically a ghost projection, but I go 9 up, 9 across, so that produces a ghost value of 9, which I project all the way down with the other 9, and that would prove a 9 there. 1, 2, 8's on the bottom. I already got it noted, so then there's only 1 remainder of unknowns outside of the ghost unknowns, and that would be 6. And then I can do, as I get answers, it lowers the amount of unknowns in the vertical rows. There's also other projections you can do, and you'll find you can reapply the X-1 all the time, because every time you get an answer, you're lowering the amount of unknowns, so then it's actually changing the requirements of the X-1 formula, if that makes any sense. So we got, let's go up here, we got, that's 8 and 1, so I can try to do the unknowns, which would be outside of the 8 and 1, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4 unknowns, and the numbers would be 2, 6, 7, 9. So I got 6, 7, I got 6, 7 across there, so I know that has to be 6, 7, and that has to be 2 and 9. Oh, I just found another over here where I got the repository or the ghost spots of 3 and 5 that are left over. I just did a standard 5 projection, a 5 projection, so that leaves a ghost. So I get a ghost projection and a standard projection. That eliminates that 5, so it has to be over here is the correct answer, and that leaves 1 left of the original ghost spot, and that would be 3. And again, now I can project. Sometimes after I get an answer, then I'll just do some quick projections. So I go 3, project up, another 3. So those are standard projections, and that formulates that. So I'm not really sometimes I don't use the X-1 formula. Sometimes just for fun, I'll look around and I'll just etch them in my mind, and I'll just quickly scan to see if the correct number, especially when they get smaller, like 2 or 3 unknowns. It's easy just to do it in your head. You don't have to put the notations, but sometimes at the beginning of the puzzle, I'll put a few notations in just so I can use them to get to easily glance at for ghost projections, because you that way, because you can't put them in the puzzle because you don't know where they go, but you can put the ghost notation on the outside, and then it's very easy to glance at it when you're doing the puzzle and use it as a projection to satisfy the X-1 formula, which then will give you a further answer, which, as you saw at the beginning of the puzzle, when I started with the number 4, that was starting out with the pure X-1. So it's kind of like a hybrid. You're using it sometimes you don't. Sometimes I could just do basic projections and get the answer, but my formula may apply to get the same answer. It's all over the map. Sometimes my formula will get the answer like at the beginning of the puzzle, whereas standard projections may not have gotten it right away. So, and then there's another little technique I'll do. See, I'll look here, and there's only 3 left in that column. So then I'll put the notations down, then I can apply X-1 formula to those 3, and then separately I can apply it to those 4, because they become 3 unknown ghosts and a 4 unknown ghosts. So to remember what they are, to put the numbers into my head, I'm going to note them down, which would be 1, 2, 9. So I'm going to bring up 1, 3 notches, 1, 2, 9. I quickly look across. I do have 1 going across. Okay. And then I'm just glancing. 2, 6, 7. We got 4. Yeah, I haven't, like I said, I haven't done this puzzle, and this is a little bit harder one. So when they do get a little harder, you do want to be careful. And we got 1, 2, 9 again. What's the other ones would be? 4, 6, 7, 8. Okay, there's a. Oh, this is standard projection. I just missed it. There's a 4, 4, 4, 4. So that's going to cross. It's going to put 4 in the corner. But there's still 3 other unknowns. So it's 1, 2, 9 is here. So that'd be 6, 7, 8. And that would put 6. Can't be there. And 8. Can't be there. Oh, okay. I'm actually got a projections, because there's the repository 8-1, and then actually no, 1, 2, 9's there. So it's 6, 7, 8. Yes, 8. Okay, when that happens, like I said, you can apply it, because you can apply it anywhere. then what I do is, rather than struggle if it's not working out, I don't write down those other notations. I'll move on to something else, and just whether it's just standard projections, and looking for, okay, I see a standard. I didn't even see. I could have done this from the beginning. Didn't even see it. The middle one, nines across, project, standard projection, vertical. So produces an answer there. Then I know that's 1 and 8. I can either do the row, x minus 1, or I can do the vertical, because it would lower down the number. So if I had applied it before, now it'll be more likely to work. So I'll try the row first. So that'd be, put in my mind, that'd be 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 3, 4. We got 5. I think we got a vertical 2. So we got 2, 3. So I got 3, 4, and 3. Okay, I got 3, 4, and 3, 4. So I'm going to put the notation down. So I can go there. That becomes 3, 4, just in case I need it for another projection, or projection inside the square. So that's going to be 3 and 4. So that would leave this as 5 and 2. So 3 and 4. And we're just seeing. Three and 4, so 3 and 5. 1, 2. Oh, I missed this. Another standard projection. One project produces a 1. Now, if you notice, I am going relatively slow, because the thing is, if you try to push it as you're getting the notations and you're getting answers, sometimes, especially when you get near the midway to 3/4 way through where you're going to solve it, you just got to make sure that you take your time, because you're putting so many numbers in and out of your head through utilizing the x minus 1 formula, and you're putting projections and ghost projections in your mind. You have to actually kind of clear them before, to verify when you get an answer. So when I did get that one there, so that produces a x minus 1 opportunity, which would be 2, 5, 8. And I do not see anything. 1 and 1, 9, and down here we got 2, 7. 2, 3, 4. So 2. 8 projection. 8, 4. Okay, 3, 4. What else we got? 2. 2, 6, 7. I'm gonna try some other, like I said, when you do, especially when you get up into this is the super fiendish. Sometimes, like I said, you will go away from the puzzle, but 1 and 8, so that's okay. I think I might have something here. Okay, so we got 1 and 8. So I'm going to do the remainder. Yeah, here, and there. There is, so 1 and 8, so that would leave 4 unknowns. Those 4 unknowns are, so 1 and 8, so that would be 2, 6, 7, 9. 6, 7 can't be there or there. So that will be 6, 7. Six, 7. And 2 and 9. 2 and 9. Um, 3 and 4. We got 2 and 5. 1, 3. So 6 and 8. Oh, I think because that's, yeah, this is going to be 3 and 4. So this is, that's a ghost spot. So standard projection to this square, and I do this just in my head, standard projection, 5 across and 5 down. So that's going to put a ghost 5 here, coupled with that 5. It's going to project down and solve the center of the lower center box. That'd be 5. Now, it's getting to the point now, I'm almost at the point that I'm going to be able to solve it. Because you got to remember I have 2, 6, 7. So that would put 3 and 4. Yeah, 2, 6, 7 is a vertical. So, or I can just do a projection here, 3 down and to 3 there, and then 1, and then vertical projection, down projection, cross projection. 3 becomes there. Because of that notation, to satisfy it and cross those both out, 3 is already there, 4 becomes there. That notation is crossed out. And like I said, now that as I get more of them like that, the x minus 1, I could apply it to the remainder 2 if I wanted. That would be 2 and 5. And no, it did not work. I can apply it. Well, actually, there's going to be 1 or 2, 6, 7. We know that. So there's 1 left here, which would be 4. Vertical projection also. So I'm pretty much, I think I've almost solved it to the point that it's almost at the point I can just start filling them in, I think. I have been fooled before. Yeah, and we got a 3 projection, a 3 projection vertical, and that's going to put 3 there. Then those 2 projections up, up, and across, 3 there. So I think I'm pretty much solving it. Or shall be very shortly, because it's reducing itself down to lower amounts of unknowns. So that formula will apply a lot easier. I'll just randomly apply it to that vertical column. And that's what the exciting part is. Sometimes you'll just apply it and it'll work. So that'll be, I just put them in my head, 2, 6, 8. We got 6. I can apply it just to this box. That would be 2, 6, 7. And I can see, just by looking at that, 2, 6, 7. I put them in my head, but then I see 2 7s project. So there it goes. And then there's 2 left in there. Sometimes I'll just look for a standard projection off, which would be 2 and 6. Or I will project the one I got, which is a 7. Project that across. 1 comes across, or 7 comes across there. 7 goes vertical. All standard projections to produce a 7 there. Now that reduces the number in that vertical column. So let's apply the x minus 1 to that. That would be 2, 5. Now you got to go slow. 2, 5, 8. Yes. Yes, 1, 2, 7. Now, like I said, when you start getting them like this, you got to really have a look around, because you might be missing. So I'll go back to my other notations, like 1, 2, 8, or there's only 3 unknowns there, so I'll quickly apply it to 1, 2, 6. Now I'll apply it to this one, which would be 1, 2, 8, 9. 9. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh no. What is the pluses? That's 1, 8. 6, 7. 1, 2, 9. 1. Oh, I missed an obvious one. 1 projection, 1 projection. 1 becomes there, and there's the 1, 8, knocks that off. 8 becomes there. Pretty much done now. 8 standard projection. Oh, let me make sure the screen is still on. What are we at? 30. About the same time as yesterday's. And like I said, that's a lot of explanation, but there's a lot more notations I did in this one. This one book is a little harder, one level harder than the other one. I don't know if it's going to translate into a harder number or not, but now I should Now I'm going to show you the projections just to finish it. 8 projects across, so then it comes back on a ghost. Ghost comes back. That eliminates there, and the one I just filled in, vertical there, so 8 becomes the answer there. And that's standard projections. And then the remainder one would become 6. And then these two, they're 5 crosses, so 5 becomes down there and 2 above. Then 2 goes across, and then there's one remainder. That would be 6. Then I got vertical projection, 6. Then I can do 6 to 7. What we got? Now this, because you got so many numbers going in and out, you do have to be careful. So we got 1, 2, 8, 9. Okay, down the bottom, I'm going to apply the x minus 1, 1, 2, 8, 2, 8, which is, there's 3 unknowns, so 3 minus 1 is 2. So 2 of the 1, 2, 8 are the numbers. 2, 8 cross, so that has to be 1 according to my formula. I could have alternatively done a vertical projection, a ghost coming back down to get the same one, but it proves it either which way. Then here, now we got 2 and 8, and we got 1, 2, and 8, 2, 6, 7. What were those? 6, 7. Yeah, 6, 7. I think that's 2 and 9. Two, 9. 1 and 8. Yeah, let's just try a one of the vertical over here. 2, 7. 1, 2. Okay. 1, 2, 9. 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. Two, 7. Sometimes it'll be sitting right in front of you. Oh, yeah, very easy one. I don't know how I missed this one. Right on the end here, there's a standard 2, 5, and it'll show you like when you go through this, because what I was doing is while I'm looking for um, options for my formula to apply, even though I knew the puzzle's pretty much done, I'm still looking for opportunity. So then 8 becomes there, and it was a good thing I didn't do sometimes I'll do a future projection, like I'll say there's 2 unknowns, I'll just pretend an 8's there, and then I'll just project it in my mind and fill in other ones until something doesn't work. But I was overlooking this one, which actually proves exactly which one goes in the particular spots. So that's 1, 2, 9. So it's going to be 6, 7. So it's going to be 6. 7's there. 7 becomes there. Now you got to go slow because, like I said, I'm just finishing it up, and if you rush it, you will make mistakes because you have so many numbers going in and out of your mind, especially when you get into the harder ones. Sometimes you have to, find you might have to put together, a couple moves, either the X-1 with some other ghost projections. So let's finish this off, and we would have 1 goes up, so 1 is there, and then that leaves 9 and 2. That puts 2 and 9, and then we have 2 and 8. That's on the original repository, or ghost spotting. And then the final 2 would be 2 and 7. 50 minutes for the film. I mean, there was a period of a lull where I was not, I was running through different things, because sometimes you'll miss an easy one, because when you get so many numbers that are being put in and then going in and out of your mind, it's not overloaded, but you become oblivious to either a single unknown or a standard projection, and you're looking for the harder. You're thinking, well, it's a harder puzzle, so you're going to have to apply harder formulas, where sometimes you do have to do that, but other times you get to a point where it's just a standard projection actually finishes it. So because that's finished, signing, usually I date it to April 4th. And the reason I date it is just so because sometimes I'll run through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books at a time, and it gives me a reference to how old that book is and the last time I did a puzzle. So if I'm doing a puzzle beside it, in a month from now, I can say, okay, I finished the one over here, April 4th, and you can get a feel for your evolving prowess in the Sudoku landscape. And like I said, a lot of people dwell on the difficulty level that you're accomplishing, whereas I can do the extreme ultimate hardest ones in the world. These are very hard, these ones here, especially compared to the other one. This is super fiendish, but it's about doing Sudoku and solving the puzzle without frying your mind. And you don't want to get frustrated. I mean, before I developed this formula and technique, sometimes you would get frustrated and you'd stop playing a book or whatever. Once you use this formula and this method, you will progress, and then you will start seeing that the puzzles speed up as you answer them, and you'll start making a lot of mistakes. You gotta trust me. I made lots of mistakes on puzzles where it progresses so fast near the end that you're just quickly trying to throw in the numbers because you know that you've solved it, but you make a mistake on an input value and you wreck the puzzle. But I've learned to slow down, especially in the second or the last quarter of the puzzle, and try to ensure that you make no mistakes. And here's something I'm going to show you. This is an original Lord of the Ring ring. Actually, it was such soft sterling silver. It was etched on the outside and inside. It's from the movie. Very heavy. I wear that with a protector, and on the same other side I have another, not original, it's a replica Lord of the Ring, but this is an actually authentic one from the movie. You'll never find them. I found them years ago. That's like 25 years old, or well over 20 years old, back when the Lord of the Rings series came out. And that's it. Just gonna put the cover on here just so that when I upload to YouTube, if I leave it there long enough, it may select that as a thumbnail, so I don't have to go make a thumbnail. Here's another book that I just found upstairs. Sometimes I'll keep them. You keep them in the bathroom. You'll keep them on coffee tables, by your bedside. Here's another one, super fiendish. I didn't realize that there was actually differences in the books. I just assumed they were all the same, but there are super fiendish versus fiendish. I can do them all. These ones, sometimes you will take a, sometimes you have to move away from them and then go back to them. But at the end of the day, you can stop and start, and when you can apply the formula anytime you want, and you'd be very surprised. Sometimes you will apply it because there's so many areas that you can apply it to, whether it's a half sector, a partial row or column, or a partial square based on ghost spotting, which will reduce down the number of unknowns in a sector or a subsector, and then other times you'll apply it at the beginning of a puzzle, like I did on this one, where I started out with getting an X-1 precise answer, and I have seen it before. I think my highest was 7 or 8 unknowns. I think it was seven unknowns, and I actually proved it with my formula, and I think it was at the start of a puzzle too. Whereas I could have alternatively just done projections and may have solved the puzzle with just standard and ghost projections, but it is fun to change things up and continually use the philosophy of formulating in your head. Once you get good at, especially when you get into the smaller amounts, 2, 3, and 4 unknowns, it's easier to put them in your mind and apply the X-1 principle with notated standard projections, ghost projections, or double ghost, or double outside, double inside, whatever you want to call those projection terminology. Everyone does those variations. They call them different things, but that's what Sudoku is based on, is projections, and which eliminate numbers across the puzzle. But the uniqueness of the X-1 formula, as you can see when I started the puzzle out, you're getting an answer not based on projections, but based on the formula, which will really surprise you. And once you go through and you'll routinely do puzzles, and you will solve stuff just by glancing at the puzzle or the row or the column, and because you're automatically, when you look at them, especially if they're smaller unknowns, you're just putting the formula X-1 into your head, and you're solving for an answer without even jotting down any notations or anything else. I tried to explain it as I did it. It's kind of hard to do that. Sometimes I'll sit back and I'll just formulate things through my head, and then when I get an answer, then I will speak about it. That is it. No, I don't have my voice Mandalorian soundboard loaded, so we will end it. This is number 2, April 4th, 2025, SuperGeek X-1 Unified Sudoku Formula demo is finishing. And that was a super fiendish book 6 puzzle. Not sure of the level. I'm sure when I post it, someone will tell me. There's one person on the Reddit that knows how to, I don't know how they know this, but there's a way to do this. You can find the level. It'll be interesting to see what that level shows up, and then I will go into even harder books that I have. I just have to look them up, or I'll try to purchase some more difficult ones and see how they apply. But sometimes you don't want to get into the super hard ones. But I guarantee you, if you learn this formula and method, the SuperGeek X-1, it'll make Sudoku solving more fun, and you will solve the harder ones a lot easier. And I know this for a fact, because before I developed the formula, I used to always get frustrated because I had all these techniques, but I would always get stuck, and I could never get past a certain threshold, so I'd have unfinished puzzles everywhere. And then once I figured out this formula, started applying it with my other standard ghost and standard projection techniques, everything started coming together, and it's super fun. I can do Sudokus in the middle of a bar if I want to, which is a strange sight, but I have done that. I do that quite frequently. That's it. 1 hour, 28 seconds. Duke out.